Hello, and welcome to another episode of 1004.com. Today, we're talking about muscles, but not those muscles. Flexing your muscles in your social media game. We have someone who has gone from nothing to something, from scrawny to buff.
That's right.
And not just in, this is good, right?
This is great.
Not just in physical form, but also in social form as well. Jess, take it away.
You speak in the fitness language. I love it. So I'm Jess Horton, and my brand business name is thefitpetite.com. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, I was in corporate world for many years, and in that time developed my own fitness blog and website, and it started growing because of my use of social media and my own marketing expertise, which led me to make a decision to leave corporate and pursue fitness and social media full time. So Hatch has been a great part of that. 1004 has been very instrumental in my growth, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So we're going to talk about social media, but we're not going to talk about, what channels. There's so many different channels out there that you guys can pick from. We're really going to spend time today talking about the language and the tone of what you're saying. Is it representing your business, your brand? Are you talking to the people that you need to talk to? How and where are you talking to them? Okay? So before we get into that, there's a couple things I want to address. There's several big things going on in the world today. One that we can't really call by name, but we're going to call it either the big games, the big event, the summer games. I've heard it called the Big O, the other Big O. But we can't call it what it's really called because the International Olympic Committee has forbid people to use the terminology of their event because we are not sponsors and putting money into their event, so we can't really talk about it. So radio stations can't really talk about it. Unless you are NBC, you cannot talk about it without some copyright kind of things going on. If you are a fitness blogger, you can't talk about it. If you are Brooks Running and you have 10 athletes at the games, like you do, you can't talk about it on your social media channels. You cannot wish your athletes well, even though you've done everything to get them there. So the point of sharing that with you is, if you don't think social media is a big deal for your brand, it is, because it's impacting what's going on every day in the entire world right now with this one event. Because of that event, we have what's called Rule 40, and Rule 40 is actually what the IOC implemented so that we cannot talk about that. Their event, their games, their athletes, we can't wish people well. A couple of great companies have kind of come on board to do their own marketing against that. One of those would be Coca-Cola, and they have done this That's Gold. If you guys look up the hashtag That's Gold, you can see they have this whole movement. You've probably seen commercials going on in your primetime NBC lineup with the That's Gold, so that they can actually give credit to some of these athletes, and anybody can participate in this. So if you're on social media or you want to get involved in the conversation, that's one of the hashtags that you can use to get involved with it without any penalty. Brandwatch. So I wanted to list this website. Make sure you guys write this down. I know these slides are going to come out, but this is going to give you like a list of like how many users are on each social media channel, what type of users are on each social media channel. This is going to be a good tool for you guys to go and do your own kind of research to figure out which channels work for your industry and your specific business or brand. So save that. That's something that you guys can kind of take. We could take a whole workshop and just do that. But that's something you guys can do on your own to help you kind of narrow down, because there's so many just different things to choose from. So we've termed Hatch as the gym for entrepreneurs, right? So have you gotten stronger since you've joined Hatch? So who thinks they've grown from joining 1004 or coming to Hatch? Everyone's hand should be up, right? How have you done that? Have you networked with people? Have you sold more product? Have you had your brand or business noted by other companies or had kudos given to you. All those are growth, right? Have you hired employees? All of that. Well, one employee that should be relatively free and the hardest working employee that you have that never comes off the clock is your online presence. So your website, it's always on. Your Facebook channel, always on. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, which I'm now learning, it is always on. And the nice thing about it, you can jump in and on and update and post and interact with people all the time. It should be your biggest, strongest business like branding muscle, because you are in control of that. Nobody knows more about your business or your brand than you. Okay? And these are tools that you can use to talk about it. It's also a great way for you to monitor what's going on in your industry with your competition. So, what are they doing? What are they saying? Not that you should be mimicking them, but you should be aware of it. And you can kind of spy on your competition or companies that you admire or aspire to be like, basically free of charge on the internet. So before you get going and start implementing these social media tools, there's some things you need to do on your kind of front end first. So have you built your foundation? Your foundation needs to be really, really strong. So when we talk about building that, flexing that muscle, right? You can't just like kind of walk out and go run a marathon. You have to run a mile, then you have to run another, and then you have to slowly build up so that you get stronger, so that when you're ready to like unleash the wolves, you're ready to go. So have you updated your pages? So kind of think about this right now. Do a mental checklist as we're going through this today and take some notes on some things to do after this session. Are all of your channels up to date? Okay? This is something that is constant. This isn't something, you don't go in, update your Facebook page. I'm not talking about your status. I'm talking about the description of what your business or brand is. Your business is evolving and changing, and it should be. So every, I would say, 90 days, go in, check that out. Is your description of your business what your business is to this day? Does your Facebook description match your Instagram description, match your LinkedIn description? Does it match the tone and style of your homepage on your website? If it's not the same language, that's something that can be fixed right now. It's quick and easy, it's cohesive. So wherever anyone's cross-referencing you, you look like you have a very healthy, strong brand on all channels. Does that make sense? Okay, your bio. So it could be you. A lot of us that are coming out of Hatch in 2004, we are the face of our brand or business. And there's reasons that we've gotten there. So that's all really important information. If you were in corporate America and you always loved fitness, and then you went out on your own to pursue fitness, that would be important. If I grew up running and have my personal training certification, and I've also taught this class and that class, those are very important things that we want listed. Those should be listed in your bio. If they're not there, beef it up. It's sometimes very difficult to talk about ourselves on our own channels. When I work with businesses, this is the one thing that they tell me all the time. They have all this wonderful information, and I'm so impressed when I sit down to meet with them to look at their social media or their website. None of it is there. And what they tell me is it's very hard for them to kind of brag about their own self or be proud of things that they've done. Nobody else is going to do it for you other than you. So get it down. We're going to talk about some ways we can collaborate and help with that, but you want to have that there. Pics are great. People love that. The way social media is going now, everybody wants to look at graphics. So, have that there. And remember, again, it's always under construction. So this is not a one and done. When you update your pages, your descriptions, your websites, this is not a like you've done that, check it off the list. It should be constant. So I want you to think about what is your social media style. So when we talk about fitness, we all have different fitness personalities. Some of us like CrossFit. Some of us like running, some of us like Zumba, yoga. Everyone has their style. And if I go to Deanie and she is a yoga fanatic and I'm a runner fanatic and I'm trying to talk to her about running and I'm shouting at her, running, 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 running. I'm running this tempo workout. I'm running this fartlek workout. She's like, you've lost me. I have no idea what you're talking about. I need to speak her language. But we also know that if somebody's listening to us or have come to us, they probably liked something that we said. So think about what style you are. Are you an informer? Are you giving out information that's like really specific to your industry? Maybe that would be helpful for people. Are you the expert? We all should think of ourselves as the expert in our brand, for sure, and in our industry. And I tell a lot of people when I'm working with businesses for social media, for example, this is one of those times where it's kind of okay to fake it until you make it. You are an expert. If you believe you're an expert, other people will too. It doesn't mean you have to know all the answers to everything. It just means you know how to find them. So if you are a baker and you come across something in the baking industry that's like some new technology or a really cool new piece of kitchen equipment, you should be the first person announcing that on your social media channels. Telling people, hey, look at this great thing. Zach has done a great job of that over the years. So he has become the expert in all things business and entrepreneurship. So you'll see on his channels, he's not always just talking about Hatch. He's talking about things across the industry, across the realm. And chances are if you think of something or have a question about something, you now know, after years of watching this, he probably has the answer if it's a business question or entrepreneur question. You need to set yourself that way too. Okay? So think about your style. Are you an exciter? If you're a really like excited personality and you're like fun and loud all the time, that should come across in your social media. If you're a little bit more demure and quiet, that's okay too. You have to find your style. Reshare. Some people are constant reshares of content, and you know who they are because you've probably unfollowed them in your feed because it's just constant reposting. I personally think that you need to be all four of those things. You need to be informing your public, you need to be the expert in your field, you need to be excited about what you're posting, and you need to reshare when it's appropriate. And the more you do it, the more it'll become organic to you. All right, so who are you talking to? If you are, and we're talking about your business social media channels. We can kind of talk a little bit about your personal, and they should be used too, but I want you to think more in the terms of like your business channels for social media. Who are you talking to, right? You're probably not talking to your mom, although she's probably your biggest fan and she follows all your pages. I got one of those too. But is she really probably your client? Maybe, maybe not. You're speaking to your client, current ones and or possible future leads, right? So are you telling them things that they need to know? Are you being salesy? Are you being pushy? Are you being an exciter, an expert, or reshare when appropriate? We know that birds of a feather flock together. So what that means is you are probably like your potential customer. So things that are interesting to you, things that are informative or mindful to you and your business are probably going to be the same to your potential client, okay? Your demographic is going to determine the channels that you're on, which leads us to here. And this is just some screenshots of a handful. We know that there are hundreds of social media channels, okay? It's not just these anymore. There's specific interest social media channels now. You know, they're considering Airbnb a social media channel now. I mean, it's crazy. So these are just like a handful. These are what we would call the more popular. You should have at least 2 of these that are active. Probably many more. Raise your hand if you have one of these active right now. Raise your hand if you have 2 of these active. 3? 4? Does anybody have all of these active right now or at least claimed as like a handle?
Everything except
Everything except for Snapchat, which is growing. We know that Instagram is still beating Snapchat in users. However, it is growing very quickly. We do have some great experts on site that can help you with that. So, you know, there's over 3 billion Facebook profiles. I mean, it's crazy. And a lot of people now are managing or have multiple. So what you want to do is kind of work backwards. So think of who your target audience is. If, for me, 35 to 55-year-old female, probably a little more affluent, I know they're on Facebook. I know they're on Instagram. I know they're on Pinterest. And the reason I know that is because of some of the research I've done, and that Brand Watch link that I gave you will help you guys find out where your customers are if you don't know. But that just kind of tells you where they are. So once you know where they are and your style, now you can kind of start talking to people. All right, so how are you interacting? Well, there's basically 2 ways to kind of interact. So you can interact with text, literally typed out text, or graphics. And I would even put video in the graphic realm. That could kind of go back and forth, but that's really big right now too. So original content. This is something that a lot of business owners, when I sit down with them, this is very hard for them. They can talk to me about it all day. They can tell me what their clients need to know, but when it comes to translating it over to posting it out, it's like this very scary thing happens and they're not quite sure how to do it, where to do it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Repurposed content can be free, and it can be a huge time saver. And then graphics. So let's stick with text for a second. So raise your hand if you've uploaded anything on social media today and you want to share what you've posted. You want to share?
Yeah.
What'd you share?
Thanks to Dina and the interns, I redid my website.
You redid your website?
Yeah, and
okay.
made it more attractive to capture, tell exactly what I do.
Okay.
Spelled out my acronym.
Excellent. So you kind of beefed up your content.
Kind of beefed up the content.
Reworded some language to be more appealing to the person reading it, right?
Put some pictures around.
Excellent. Awesome. Good for you. It was original content, right?
Original content.
Did you find that once you kind of started getting the ball rolling, it became a little bit easier for you, or was it more difficult?
It was actually more helpful. It was easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's so many ways you can do this. So what I like to do is, I mean, you guys know, we all have smartphones. Anywhere you are, you're going to get inspiration. And once you start thinking, I would venture to say, I wish I could sit on your shoulders today and follow you around, because I bet you today you guys are going to be like, oh, I got to take a picture of this and I got to write that. Inspiration is going to come to us all the time, right? We're entrepreneurs. We wake up in the middle of the night with to-do lists, right? So the same thing should be going on here. When you get the inspiration, capture it. Take a note in your notes section, send yourself an email, take a picture of something. Take a picture of something that you think is cool. You might want to use it later. You're up and down the streets of Norfolk, Virginia Beach. We have so many visually appealing things. Take advantage of what's around you. I want to talk about these graphics and all the graphics that you've seen in this slideshow today. I've created every graphic in this slideshow. Now, they're not award-winning graphics, but they're pretty good. And it's not because I'm a fantastic graphic artist. It's because there's some awesome tools out there for you. So Pinterest is a great way to get inspiration. If you're not using Pinterest for your business, use it for you. Use Pinterest for you. There are quotes on there, okay? These quotes have been around, some of them hundreds of years. You can use the quotes. Give the credit to the person that wrote it. If it's a Walt Whitman quote, give him the credit. If there's a picture that you like on Pinterest, recreate the picture for yourself with your smartphone. Add some text. It's now yours. Canva, that is a great app. It's, I think, free for 30 days. And then if you want to continue using it, it's like $9 a month, which if you're putting out 2 to 10 graphics a month, which you probably are, I mean, that's totally affordable. The Stock IM, that's another great stock photo site, 100% free stock images. So you can grab those images, you can put your own text, those are now your images. Did you guys all lose signal or just this? Oh, we got it. So those are some great tools for you that are affordable and or free. There's also some really cool apps. A lot of really girly kind of like apps for graphics, if you want to put fun little things on. If there's like stickers or overlays for your industry, I would venture to say there's apps for you out there too. Okay? Your picks are all free. Anything that you take, which you should be taking photos of things all the time, especially work that you're doing, products that you're selling, things that you're going to. Be taking photos of it. This is important to the growth of your business. This is that fake it till you make it. Show people what you're doing. You're attending a workshop, show them, okay? What did you learn? How did it help your business? Show them. Once you start posting things, you're gonna find a few things are gonna happen. You're gonna feel really awkward at first because you're gonna think, oh my gosh, that person's graphic was better than mine, or this person said it better than me, or I can't fit this 140 character limit with Twitter. It can become stressful. My best advice to you is just dive in and start doing it. The kinks will work themselves out. The graphics will get better with practice, right? So the more you do it, the better it's gonna get. These are great times to interact with clients and or potential leads because we want on social media, what do we want? What is currency on social media? People, likes, fans, reshares, things like that. If somebody's liking your picture, thank them. Hop on your phone, hop on your computer, thank them. If they've left a comment, thank them, comment back. If they've left a comment that is maybe not nice, hop on there, rebuttal, state your case in a very nice diplomatic way. You're now showing not only that person, but other people that are kind of watching, all right, he handled that, she handled that with really good customer service. That is a prime opportunity. Now, you might not be able to be in live time because you guys are busy running your businesses, but every day this should be something that you're doing. So why are you sharing? This is like the big one. This is almost where we start getting into that etiquette thing. Is this helpful to someone? This is kind of like, do you have to have the last word? You know who those people are, right? That talk and talk. It's like what you're saying has no relevance to anything. Think of a couple things. There's a couple keywords. So is it popular, right? So right now there's some things that are popular. We've got these big games going on. That's popular. Is it positive? Is it something happy? Is it going to make you feel good? That's a great thing to share with people. They love that. There's a reason why kitty cat videos do really well on the internet. Is it provoking? Now, this is where you're going to have to use your own judgment because we are in the height of political season. I steer clear from posting that. That is my comfort level. I don't want to step on any potential client's toes. I respect everyone, everybody's views. You may feel differently. You may feel gutsy enough to post what your political views are on your business page. Be prepared that you are also going to be taking comments that might be the other side of you. So really think about what you're doing. It's kind of like shut your mouth, think. Your mother's told you that growing up. Think before you talk. Think before you post. You know, is it popular, positive, or provoking? If those answers are yes, then it's probably powerful and going to make you stronger, that social media presence a little bit stronger, post away. Are trends important? Maybe. Depends on what your business is and can you use them in your posting. The social media tool on Facebook along the right hand side of the homepage, you guys know how to check what's trending. You probably all know how to do that, right? If not, I can show you guys after here. But you can kind of check and see what's already trending on the internet. You don't have to recreate or go around searching for this. Facebook is going to tell you. They want you to know because they want you involved in that conversation too. You can very easily hop in on those conversations with the use of hashtags, with at signs going right directly messaging people. If something amazing happens in your industry, you better be the first one posting about it or responding or commenting on it or something on all your channels. And don't just comment on one channel. use all your channels. Twitter. Twitter's a great way to interact with like national companies directly to them, and don't be offended if they don't write you back. It's okay. You're still doing the right thing by interacting with them. There's also a calendar. I've connected the link here, so when you get the slideshow, you'll have all these links. There is a calendar that's got all the wacky national holidays on it. Today is National Book Lovers Day, so everybody's reading something, right? So this morning I posted a stack of my summer reading and just said Happy National Book Lovers Day. It got me in the conversation that's already going on with like a 2-second graphic, nothing to it. There's a lot of really cool holidays that are probably right in line with what your industry and business are. Okay? Frequency. So repetition builds reputation. That is like the #1 rule of advertising and marketing. If you've gone to any advertising forum or have sat down with any ad agency, they are going to tell you this. You can't post one time on Facebook and hope that someone sees it and your product's going to be discovered and you're going to make $1 million and that's it. That's not how it works. You have to post all the time, ad nauseum, post, post, post. My philosophy, there's 2 things. I think social media is used for the power of good versus evil. That's how I use it, and that's how I will use it with my users. And I also believe that if you don't want to see it, you can unfollow me. So I would rather you guys post nonstop, 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 nonstop. And if somebody's saying you guys are posting too much, okay, well, thank you so much for noticing. Obviously you're doing something right. People that are on Saturday Night Live being imitated, they're doing something right. They're being talked about. So 10% of all business posts go to the feed anyway. So you might as well just like inundate it with useful, powerful, positive information. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. And then tell them why you're sharing it or what you want them to do. So are you just reposting something without adding your own text in there? I'm not going to really know why you want me to look at this. Why is this important? So I've been sharing a lot on my page the schedule of the summer games. That's a big deal for my readers because I have a lot of fitness people. But I'm telling them why. Like today at 4 p.m., this is happening. Did you notice that on the schedule? Sunday, the women's marathon, 9:30 a.m. Did you notice that on the schedule? That's helpful information for them. They're looking for that too. And if they can get that from me quickly, then they're going to come back to my page and my channels.
I thought you said you couldn't do that.
I can't say the O word, but I can reshare something from that channel and say marathon.
So you say, and your wife said, you just say there's a marathon in Rio this weekend.
Exactly. Big marathon this weekend. Yep.
You could say the games.
The summer games. You can use the hashtag that we talked about, the That's Gold, okay, that the soda company put out.
They won't try to see you.
No, they purposely did that for that. They're jumping on because they know people want to talk about it. And this buzz about the big games hit last Wednesday, Thursday. They actually let out all their social media mandates. And any social media person or account manager was like in a scurry to like change everyone's social media strategy because we all across the world had strategies in place to benefit and leverage that traffic. And they said, can't do that, you'll be fined. So we had to go, everybody scurry around. But there's, kind of ways to go around it. You just need to be mindful. Do they really care what a little social media manager in Norfolk, Virginia Beach is doing? Probably not. But if I'm Adidas and I'm not paying them to sponsor, Dick's Sporting Goods is a paid sponsor of the games. Adidas probably is not, but they have athletes that are there. That's who they're more worried about. Like, don't leverage and take advantage of something that we're doing. It's actually very greedy and very wrong. It's sad. So, but you can tell people why you want them to follow. Okay? So if it's an event or a tip about how to plan a great event, tell them why this tip is important or tell them why they should attend that event. Why is it beneficial? And then just to kind of close out, great people do great things before they are ready. So you're probably sitting on your hands like, I'm not ready to tweet. I'm not ready to post. I don't want to take a selfie. Pick a channel, master that one channel first, get healthy, get, strong with it, and then add in another one. Things to be mindful of: don't spam your people with content that is not useful. Collaborate with someone. If getting your own content going is a challenge for you, lean on a buddy. That's what 1004 and Hatch is all about. Ask someone. Ask if another business and you can collaborate if the business partnership makes sense. Give credit where credit is due. So if you're resharing something, give content, thank them. If Chris Hill has been here a lot posting things, he's had some great content, and Zach, share their content, thank them, and tell other people why it's valuable. Be relevant, be creative. Nobody speaks your brand and your style more than you. Experiment and be respectful. So thank you guys. Do you have any questions on like social media style or tone or language? Yeah.
I mean, I'm from the days of AOL, right?
Okay.
I just don't get the whole Facebook thing. I'm not against it. I set up a page. I never really understood how it worked. I guess
Right.
because I just never really took the time to understand how it works, but I really just don't get why people are on it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it works great for some people, but I'm just not the type of guy to be on my, to go to my page. and
Yeah.
do that.
So I would say you might not understand it, and that's a whole nother workshop and discussion we can have on another day, but I will leave you with this because people watching probably have the same question. At this point in this stage in the game with over 3 billion profiles, it's really not time. It's like, don't take time to understand or figure out why. Just know people are using it and know that your potential client or current client is using it. And if you're not there, it's irresponsible for your business. If the big games is using it, if all these other massive companies are using it and there's now legal action because you don't want me to leverage the traffic, that's a big deal. So get involved, get on. And if Facebook's not the channel, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's Instagram, and make it like a daily thing. Like maybe say, I'm just gonna like write one post a day. And then you'll become like, okay, next thing you know, you've like updated your status for a month every day. Now I feel comfortable. Now I'm gonna add in another channel. And really you can kind of say the same thing on a different channel in like just a little bit different way to make it just a little unique. And you're building that healthy presence. If I'm shopping for a product, and what is your business product? Talent management. You've got to be involved socially. You're showcasing talent, right? Showcasing people or searching for. Well, what are they going to do? They want to see themselves on the internet, right? They want to see, and you need to showcase people. That's big. If I'm a prospect for you to place me, I'm going to come to your page and see, well, who else is he placed? And if there's no one there, that's scary, right? Or if I want some talent from you and I've come and said, there's no talent. You might have a portfolio of talent, but you haven't shown any of that talent. That's going to make your channels look kind of healthy and unhealthy and wimpy. So it's almost like you should be afraid to not do it. Yeah.
You mentioned much about LinkedIn. Do you, because I blog on my LinkedIn
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that versus, say, Twitter?
Yeah. They're very different. And so when we were talking earlier about like knowing what your demographic is, so that's why I say work backwards. So figure out who is your client and where are those clients, right? So if your client is a business professional or your client is a stay-at-home mom, very different social media channels. Probably some overlap, but a stay-at-home mom's probably not on LinkedIn. She might be, but as a rule, probably not. Business professionals, LinkedIn, they're at their computer, they're probably there all day long. So that would be a great place for you if that's who you're trying to reach. And you want to talk to them. So LinkedIn language, is going to sound a little bit different, maybe a little bit more professional than like a Twitter language. So I do the same thing. I blog and I put out things all the time, and I might have the same blog that goes out on Twitter with very casual language, you know, kind of speaking more to the millennial. Same blog could go on LinkedIn with a totally different description, telling the business people or corporate world like why this is important to them.
Do you think there's such a thing as overexposure? And the reason I ask that is, and I don't care what your politics are, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has got like 25 million people that follow him on Twitter.
Right.
He can't sneeze without everybody knowing.
Exactly.
And I guess my question is really just from a marketing standpoint, is that too much exposure? I mean, are we getting too much of that? Is it, I mean, that's the way the politics has gone, but I mean, it's a fascinating study, really, when you look at it.
No, it's been very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Both candidates. Because I deal with new businesses a lot and young kind of green businesses like what we all have here, I would say that's a fear that we are all really, really far away from. The fear of me being too much exposed or one of these new businesses is so far down the pike that we should wish for that. And the only way that we're going to get there is if we ad nauseum share our brand. So my other side of the argument would be, if people don't want to know what my brand's doing, they can unfollow me. Right? And I think I'm well away from that. I'd like to think that's a problem of mine in the next 5 years. Does that make sense? Yeah.
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 So you're talking about sharing images. I'm a web developer.
Yeah.
Should I share a wide range of images or just images about web development?
I think it would depend on what you're trying to do. So if you have created I think there's a couple things that you could do. You could share, like an image could be a quote or a post like, let's see.
I like your coffee picture, by the way.
So thanks. That's one I was going to try to pull back up if I can get I don't know how to get it to come back up there, but yeah. So I like big cups and I cannot lie, right? That's just fun. Like that's just a fun. Got tons of likes, comments on Instagram. It was just fun. That's just kind of me interacting, like being mindful, top of mind, like having a presence. That's a little creative. Now, if I'm posting something that's useful content, like a workout, right? I might post, here's a travel workout, here's 10 things to do while you're on vacation to stay fit. That's going to have a different graphic. It's probably going to have more content on it. Or for me, a before and after. That would probably be big for your business. A before picture of the website, and then look what we've done. That would be a great graphic to show, right? It's like, look what you've done, but also instead of getting too salesy, why is it important for the business you've helped what you've done?
Right.
Because then that problem that you've solved, which Zach talks about all the time, are we solving the problems? If you've solved a problem for one, chances are somebody looking has the same problem and you can solve it, right? Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense.
So some graphics are going to be totally pointless and fun, and you're just, getting in on a conversation. Kind of depends on your style. Is that your style? My style is very fun and like girly and like just lifestyle. So a lot of my images are that.
A lot of my Twitter posts are reshares where I would say like the Fit Petite is making getting fit easier with a link.
Exactly.
And that's my thing. We make things easier at UserX.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. One more question is, do you have like tools or tips that you can give us that help you on a daily basis to remind you to do images or keep track of?
So great question. Yeah. So I set up like whatever your schedule is, and a lot of us are working out of like home offices or here, so you can set a calendar appointment like right on your iPhone if that's something that you need. If you set that appointment, do it, because it's a very easy thing to go, ugh, I don't need to do that today.
Like with my pills.
Right.
I have reminders for that, and I snooze them.
Right,
snooze them, and
right. And one thing I like to do is like, because graphics, I actually really enjoy making graphics, and for me, I can spend hours. It's kind of like the opposite for me. I can like okay, I have like 80 other things to do. I probably need to stop making graphics and like do these other things. So I'll spend like 1 hour, 2 hours a week doing all the graphics for like the next 2 weeks or a month or whatever, and then they're done. Once you get even more sophisticated in your social media, Hootsuite is great because you can go in and schedule everything out. That's a whole nother workshop and conversation, but that would be for like once you're really feeling comfortable with the channels that you're using, when are you posting, the times of day, and all of that. But I would totally jot that down. If you're not using it or familiar, go ahead and just get familiar with it because it's a great way to kind of plug and play.
What is it?
Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE. Question, Deanie?
What does that do again?
I was going to say Buffer is a good
Buffer
one
is a
too.
good one.
Buffer.
BUFF.
It's a social media scheduling tool. So you could like go in, you can schedule LinkedIn, pretty much everything. The only thing that it's not really, the big kind of drawback for most people right now is Instagram doesn't let you pre-schedule. It will let you like hold a position in Hootsuite where you can say, I'd like to publish this at noon, but Hootsuite and Instagram will not automatically let it upload. Like if you set something to schedule Tuesday at 5 on Facebook, it'll post and it'll go there. Instagram does not have that capability, but you will get an alert on your phone saying your Instagram post is now ready, kind of like a little reminder, and then you have to manually go in and do it. So it's kind of a pain if you're a big Instagram fan, but there's, ways kind of around it. But whatever your schedule is, and I would think if you're a business owner, you've got your schedule through the week and weekend because we don't really stop. But this should be something that's part of your weekly plan. If you're doing all these wonderful things and telling nobody about them, what are you doing them for? You got to tell people that you're doing all these great things.
I put things in my portfolio on my website, but I'm only getting 3 people a day going to that, so.
Right. And you've probably built this great website. You've probably invested a lot of time and money in this great website. Let's get people there. Let's get people there through some like free means. Any other questions or comments? Well, thanks. You guys can email me at thefitpetite@gmail.com if you have any specific questions, or through Hatch. Thanks so much.